backlash against greedy, soulless tech companies is continuing to heat up, to the point where now they're starting to turn on each other. Apple CEO Tim Cook recently slammed Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg for using his customers as his product. Cook thinks it's appalling that Zuckerberg sold his users' data and made a ton of money off of it. He said that Apple could have done that too, but they've elected not to because they respect their customers' privacy. He also said that he blames Facebook for not policing or regulating itself. He said that Apple has made a habit of self-regulating, again in the best interest of their customers. The example Cook gave on MSNBC was that Apple doesn't just allow anyone to sell anything they want in the App Store in the name of free speech. He said Apple doesn't believe in that. Instead, they believe that if they see a terrible app, then they're willing to make a judgment call on behalf of their users and not allow that app to be sold. Unlike Zuckerberg, who will just take any money from anyone, whether through rotten ads on their site or through selling their users' data to anyone who's willing to fork over cash. So, Cook's been bashing Zuckerberg these days, acting all pious. And now Zuckerberg's responding. He did an interview with Vox in which he said, I find that argument that if you're not paying that somehow we can't care about you to be extremely glib. So basically, he just called Cook glib for acting all pious about not monetizing its users' data, when meanwhile, that's because Cook charges an arm and a leg for their products, while Facebook is free to use. Zuckerberg's point is that the only way for Facebook to run is by monetizing their users' data and by selling ads. So it's quite glib of Cook to bash on him. Who knows if Cook will respond in kind? All I know is, to me, the whole spat is pretty ridiculous. Because both Zuckerberg and Cook have gotten ridiculously wealthy off of products that have made our society demonstrably worse off. Together, they have strung out our kids on a tech addiction, distorted our view of reality, messed with our sense of self-worth, created an unquantifiable amount of anxiety, ruined relationships. Facebook and Apple are both guilty of profiting off of society's losses. So for Cook and Zuckerberg to sit there and point fingers at each other is pretty ridiculous. They're both responsible for messing things up. Luckily, it seems like the rest of the world is finally starting to notice.